Hey, welcome to a new reading vlog. This is a spoiler reading vlog. I'm starting this Friday, December 31st. It's 11:21 p.m. So it is almost 2022. But yeah, this is a spoiler vlog for, like I was saying, this is a spoiler vlog for Glass Sword by Victoria Aveyard. It's the second book in the Red Queen series. So I started this earlier today. I'm on chapter 4, page 42. I've read, this is a reread for me. This is why I'm doing a spoiler vlog, and this series has been out for a while too. So my friend Carleni is also reading it, and she's reading it for the first time, so it's fun like seeing her reactions and stuff. I don't know how much I'm gonna read like tonight because I'm kind of sleepy. I'll probably go to sleep maybe after midnight. We'll see what happens. But I'm gonna read a little bit probably until tonight. We'll see what happens. There isn't much of an update for right now because not much has happened. But I'll keep you guys updated as I reread this. And yeah, so yeah, I'm gonna do some reading now. Hey, so it's Saturday, January 1st, 2022. It's 5:15 p.m. It is with focus. Okay, so I do remember the last update. I think I just did a time lapse. But Glass Sword, Victoria Aveyard. So I'm on page 83. I'm on chapter 7. Beginning of chapter 7. So I think I have two things to say. One, it's been fun like reading because this is set like in a world, like it's in the future, so it's in the US, but in the future. So like after like I think there was like a war or like multiple wars. It's like years in the future. So like their maps, I don't know how to describe this. So basically the names are in the same. So like for example, there's like a location like where they are is, or like not where they are. They go to a location that's called, I forgot how they pronounce it, Newry, but that's New York City. And then they mention, obviously this is a spoiler vlog, so then they mention that they're going to an island called Tuck, and they are traveling from New York City, northeast. So this island is actually in Nantucket. So yeah, so it's fun like seeing, like, even though I've read this before, but it's been a while, like seeing like the places they talk about and figuring out, or like just like researching what that location is in our time, if that makes sense. So yeah, also there's maps in the book Broken Thorn. What? Broken, I can't speak. Also they have maps in the book Broken Throne, so you can see the current locations and then what they end up being in like the future in like their world. So yeah, so that's been fun to like see, like, oh, like knowing like, oh, New York is New York City and Tuck is Nantucket. Yeah, hope that makes sense. But yeah, that's been cool to see. Anyways, second read, still find Kilorn annoying. Anyways, yeah, I'm still finding Kilo annoying. But yeah, I'm still like excited to continue on with this, and yeah, seeing like if I like this maybe more the second time around, because I didn't like the second book as much as I did the first book. My favorite book in the series is book 3, which is King's Cage. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see like what I think about Glass Sword the second time around. So yeah, I'm gonna start reading again, and I'll keep you guys updated. Hey, what's up? So I don't know where my phone is. Why is it so it's January 5th, Wednesday, and it's 2:30 p.m. Well, whatever. Obviously this is a reading vlog for Glass Sword by Victoria Aveyard. I haven't read much, if any, from the last update. So I'm on page 99. I'm on chapter 8. One of like the plot twists just happened, which obviously because I've read this before, I know. Oh, this is a spoiler vlog. So I got to the point where Keylorn betrays Mare, and basically like he takes her to where Cal is, where he's being imprisoned on Tuck Island, which aka is Nantucket. So he took her there and basically put her in like the same room where Cal is being imprisoned. So now Mare thinks that Keylorn is like betraying her, and then she's still like on that mindset from the first book of anyone can betray anyone, and you know, coming off from the whole Maven betrayal, she's just like what the hell. So yeah, so that's the part I'm up to. Yep, that's where I'm at. I'm hoping to actually, maybe I'll start like I'm one of those people where I'm like, I could start now, but I'm like, you know what, let's just wait till 3 and then start. Maybe I'll watch like a YouTube video, like a booktube video, to get myself in the reading mood, and then at 3 I'll jump back into reading Glass Sword, and I'll keep updating you guys with my thoughts and feelings. Spoilery wise, I don't know what that was. If you guys heard that. So yeah, those are my plans, and I'll talk to you guys again later. Okay. Hi. So it is now, I don't remember the last time I spoke to the vlog, but it's now, technically it's Thursday now, Thursday, January 13th. It's 12:26 a.m. and as you guys saw, I was reading a bit of Glass Sword, obviously because this is what this vlog is about. So I was reading a bit while I was watching the second episode of the new season of Married at First Sight. That's like one of my like guilty pleasure shows. I like watch, I've watched like almost every season. So yeah, so basically I read during commercials. Yeah, and that show is pretty long. It's like 2 hours, so I get a little bit done. So I'm in the middle of a chapter. I stopped in the middle of a chapter. So I'm in the middle of chapter 12. These chapters are long, and if you guys don't know, I hate long chapters. But I'm in the middle of chapter 12. I'm on page 172. Okay, so where we are, the point that we are at, Keylorn betrayed Mare, but it was really part of the plan all along. And then Mare, Cal, Shade, Keylorn, Farley, they all escape from where they are in Tuck Island, and they steal a plane. Yeah. And they are now on the hunt to look for all the different new bloods before Maven gets to them, because Maven already knows that they exist, and they know that he's gonna want to kill them. So they're trying to get to them before Maven gets to them. So they have made it to the first person. They found, what is his name? So they found Nyx, and understandably he's upset that they like kidnapped him. But then once he finds out like what they're doing and whatever, he's like, okay, I'll go with you. Even though they barely have a plan. They know they want to collect the new bloods, but they're not really, at least Mare, she's not really sure what they're gonna do once they rescue all of the new bloods. Farley said that they will, if they want to be trained, that they'll train them, but her dad, I forgot his position that he is, but Mare was thinking like, oh, he's not gonna be down with that because he didn't want them to go looking for the new bloods in the first place. So thoughts so far, like I remembered from the first time I read this, it's pretty slow. There's not a lot happening right now besides them just looking for the new bloods, which I think I remember that taking up most of the book, which was annoying. I'm telling you, book 3, King's Cage, love that book. This was a bit of a trek to get through, and it's the second time around a trek to get through. But one of the things that I'm trying to remember again is how annoyed I was with Mare of her trying to protect Keylorn. Like, oh my god, just, he's an adult. Is he? I think he's 18. Yeah, he's an adult. Leave him alone. If he wants to sacrifice his life, let him do it. She's all talking about like, oh, why won't he let me protect him? And I'm like, Mare, you need to stop. That's like most annoying thing. Let me see what though. I think there was 2 times. Okay, so the first this wasn't really just the first time. This is like one of the times I annotated. Okay, so it says, so they're going to go get Nyx. So they're like splitting up, trying to figure out who's gonna go get Nyx and who's gonna stay behind. And they make sense, Mare and Cal stay behind because people will recognize them and want to kill them, so they stay behind. So Mare says, but Keylorn stays with us. Keylorn's eyes flicker, dancing between me and Cal. This was where can I read? This will go a lot faster. You don't keep nannying me, Mare. Nanny, I suppose that's what I'm being. Even now, when he can think, fight, and provide for himself. If only he wasn't so foolish, so dedicated to refusing my protection. Why can't he protect himself? I'm confused. She's so annoying. And then the other time, which wasn't even that many pages later, she says again, if only Keylorn would let me protect him. If only he didn't insist on throwing himself in front of every bullet that comes his way. Come here. Let him be. He wants to help. He wants to be part of like this revolution or whatever this is. He wants to help. Let him do it. Why? Just why? Yeah, so I'm starting to remember again how annoying she is about that. Just like, leave it be, Mare. Let it be. Anyways, I'm gonna get back to reading. I'm kind of thinking of trying to stay up as long as I can and like reading and stuff. We'll see what happens, but I'm gonna get back to reading a little bit. This is a weird angle, but whatevs. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, oh, it's like a few minutes later from my last clip. But no, it's a whole day later. Well, not like a whole day. I don't know. It's Thursday, January 13th. It's 10:45 p.m. So I did last night read a bit of Glass Sword. I am now on chapter 15, page 206. And right now, and I remember this from the first time I read this, because this is a reread. I'm like waiting for like the pace to pick up because not a lot is happening. And I realized last night what's missing. And what I'm waiting for Maven and Evangeline. Because I feel like those two characters just make things so much more interesting. So yeah, so I'm missing those two characters. And I know they come in a bit later on in this book, but it's gonna take a minute to get there. I'm almost 50% into the book. Again, tonight I'm gonna try and read like a good amount. Not like a good amount, I don't want to say. I'm gonna read a bit. That's what I will say. I'm gonna read a bit and get a few pages done. But yeah, I'm waiting for Maven and Evangeline to pop back up because they make things interesting and exciting. So yeah, that's a little update I have for you right now. I'll update you guys again when I have something to say, pretty much. So I'll talk to you later. Hey, so it is currently Friday, January 14th. It's 10:38 p.m. So last night when I said I was gonna read, I didn't. I wasn't feeling that great, so I just fell asleep. But I have been reading now. It will focus. And I am now on page 238. I'm about to start chapter 17, and this is like the part where it starts. Well, it's the part where there's like down and like the roller coaster. That makes sense. Where you're like, yes, okay, excitement. But I'm pretty sure like after like this scene and after the next like chapter or two, it goes back to just like cruising and not much happening. But maybe not, I don't know. I don't remember much. But they have gotten to, I'm not sure if I already said this, that they found the first new blood, Nyx. And his ability is, he's kind of like I think it's a strong arm. No, I forgot which one he's like. But basically he's like very tough, like nothing, like literally nothing can hurt him. But not literally nothing, but like he's like, his skin and like his body's like really tough. So like if you try to fight him, it's like nothing to him. He's just like whatever. So then now I forgot what time they went to, but they went to find the records to find the addresses for these other new bloods so they can find them. So they did that, and of course chaos ensued because they had to break into the records, and they were seen obviously because this building is like pretty well protected, and I think it was in one of the, I don't know if it's a castle or palace, whatever. Palace? Castle? Castle? Let's say castle. Where like the royal family stays or whatever. So then they're trying to escape, and at the last minute, when they think, oh, we're screwed, Shade saves them. So then, oh, there's also the Red Watch, which they've mentioned, where it's like they're the people that the Reds go to when like there's something like going on. They're like the like the police in a way. There are silver ones, but they don't do anything. So they have the red watch, but they murdered a little red watch. And when they first break into the records, trying to get to the records, one of like the silver guards is like, oh, and they were hung. So he's like, oh, because they go in and they're like, oh, Maria's like, she has like a cloak over her, and she's like, oh, I have a complaint. And he's like, oh, that's a job for the, so yeah, he's like, oh, that's like a job for the red watch. And he's like, I think they're still hanging around. And I'm like, annoying. So then eventually they like break into the records. They start to get the information that they need to find the new bloods. And then they realize, oh, we can also get all the other ones as well here, get all their addresses. But then of course more guards come, and then I was backtracking a little bit, and then chaos ensues. They try to escape, and then she saves them. And then now they're trying to get to the house of one of the one of the new bloods. And then on the way they realize that see a body hanging, and Mare realizes that that is one of the new bloods. And then they have like an argument if they should like take the body down, and then Mare, Shade, and Farley are like, yeah, we need to take the body down. And then Cal is like, no. And then they realize it's a trap, obviously, set by Maven. And then Maven and his like army or whatever start attacking them. And listen, one of the reasons why I love Maven is because the things he says, you're just like, are you okay, bro? Like, are you okay? Because some of his lines are just like, I don't know what it is. It's just like, obviously he's not okay, but like he is like trying to get Mare to look at him or whatever. And then eventually he's like, and I said I would save you. And then a little bit later he says, I am a man of my word. He tips his head again. When I want to be. Just like, Maven, who hurt you? Well, I know who hurt him. But still, it's just like, Maven, what are you doing? Are you okay? And then the last thing from the chapter that I highlighted was when this is what Mare says. She's like, suddenly I realized, oh, because there's this machine that they have that has like doing this like clicking noise, and it's driving her, and like she's like, what is that? And then she realizes that it's like hurting her, but she doesn't know what it is. And then she realizes that it's like really intensified lightning and electricity. So she's like but it's like really extreme. So she realizes that it's like, well, she says that it's killing her. And then she says, suddenly I realize, is this what they felt, the ones they killed? Is this what it feels like to die by lightning? I think that was just like interesting, that an interesting line that was included, that because well, in our world we don't have like magical abilities, so we wouldn't know. But like in their world, they don't know like what it's like to be hurt by their own ability. So for her to realize like, oh, this is what I'm doing to other people, and this is how they felt when I used my ability on them, I just thought it was interesting that that was included. Her to realize like, oh, this isn't like, they must have like suffered a lot, and it must have like hurt really bad, even though like, you know, sometimes when she used her abilities because, you know, somebody was trying to kill her or something, just to realize the magnitude of your ability and how much you're hurting someone. And yeah, and just to realize that, that was like interesting, if that makes any sense. Yeah, so I just stopped because I'm hungry, so I'm gonna eat, even though it's like almost 11 p.m. but I want to keep reading, so I'm gonna eat something. I'm gonna leave leftovers. I'm gonna eat leftovers from earlier, and then I'll get back to reading. So yeah, that's my plan. and I'll talk to you guys again later. And I'm excited to see more Maven. Though there's not too much of Maven in this, I'm excited to see more Maven and for Evangeline to pop up again. I think she pops up in this one again, I'm not sure, but I love her too. She's everything. So yeah, I'll talk to you guys again later. Hey, so it is now 2:22 a.m. on Saturday, January 15th. Whatever. So I am now on page 309. I'm about to start chapter 22. Okay, a lot has gone down. So gotten to the part where Maven pretty much knows where they're knows where they're going. He set up a trap for them, but one of the new bloods that they have, he is able to create illusions. This is the best way to describe it. So he's able to like make them invisible, so like no one can see them, or he's able to like make people into like somebody else. So they went looking for these new bloods, and Maven got there first, set up a trap, but then with this new blood he was able to make them all like disappear, so didn't get caught. And Maven he left a little note for Mare. Okay, so the first note that Maven leaves for Mare, well, he left the note with a baby that is no longer alive. So it says October 22nd, a crude envelope. I know, I remember that line from the first time I read it, and I was like, bro, really? But necessary. You must know what you are doing, what you are forcing me to do to these people, forcing you to do to these people. Everybody is a message to you and to my, it's late, and to my brother. Surrender to me and it will stop. Surrender and they will live. I am a man of my word. Until we meet again, Maven. Like literally any time that he comes on the page, whether he's actually there or not, the things that he says is just like I said before, like, bro, you okay? Who hurt you? Like, I know who hurt him. And then the second note, October 31st. I expected you at my coronation. It seemed like the kind of thing your Scarlet Guard would love to try and ruin, even though it was quite small. We're still supposed to be mourning father, and a grand affair would seem disrespectful, especially with Cal still out there, running around with you and your rabble. A precious few still owe allegiance to him according to Mother, but don't worry, they are being dealt with. No silver succession crisis will come. No silver succession crisis will come and take my brother from your leash. If you could, wish him a happy birthday for me and assure him it will be his last. But yours is coming, isn't it? I don't doubt we'll spend it together until we meet again, Maven. Just like, yeah, just like the things that he says, it comes off like in a creepy vibe and are you okay? And this thing happens where they learn that they are sending like 10 like troops to replace 9 that are in the trenches of the war, and they're trying to figure out like why are they sending in 10 to replace 9. And one of the new bloods, Ada, she's like she believes it's a kill order, And then she like says that the official name is the Dagger Legion, but Governor Rambles called them something else, the Little Legion. New conscripts, the kids. So yeah, so they think that I think it was right from the first time I read this, that the extra group is to like kill them, but I don't quite remember like what happened. Then we met Garth, who he manipulates gravity so he could technically also fly. Cal family told Mare like, listen, Killorn is not mad at me, because she thought that Killorn was mad at Cal and Mare because they like kissed or something. And he's like, listen, he told me himself he's not mad at me, he's mad at you. He says he isn't a child, Mare, you don't have to protect him anymore. And then she gets all mad about it, like, how dare I do such a thing, how dare I want to keep him safe. And then she's like, then bring him along next time, let him stumble into a grave. And I'm like, Cal is right, Killorn is right, he's not a child, you don't have to protect him, let him do what he wants to do. Like, what are you doing, Mare? You're putting yourself in danger, but then you don't want him to put himself in danger. I don't get it. But I'm just like, shut up, Mare. Then a really big one of the like the part that I like just read, one of the most important parts, and without saying too much, this character that we meet is very important to the rest of the series. So that's all I'll say about that. So we meet John, who he could like see the future, but he could also see like different ways that it could go, because he says but I see everything. Yeah, so he knows like what people are gonna say before they say it. And I think he can like see, like he could see things changing, like depending on the decision that somebody makes. Yeah. If that makes sense. What else do we have? Yeah, so then John also tells them the plan that Maven and Ilara have. He tells them about the prison where they have all the new bloods that they've captured, that they made them think that they killed, but they actually just captured them, and they're like testing them to see like what they could do or whatever. So yeah, so he tells them plans that they have for them, and the fact that they are planning to execute Julian and Sarah. And then he also mentions this one thing too, which I'm gonna say what it is because you figure this out at the end of this book. Like, this thing is revealed. I'll say it now because I'm assuming if you're watching this, you already seen. You already read the entire book. So yeah. So first off, it says, John says to Mare, and tell Diana when she doubts, tell her the answer to her question is yes. And I literally wrote in all caps that she is pregnant. And then I didn't realize, like, the first time reading this, obviously I didn't know that she was gonna end up pregnant. That's like a reveal at the end of the book. That there is like hints throughout pretty much the entire book hinting that she's pregnant. Because there's been multiple times where she's like felt sick or like has like thrown up. Like the first instance was in one of the situations where Shade jumps her. That sounds weird, jumps her. Where like, you know, he uses his ability and they go from one place to the other, you know, jumps. And she throws up. Oh, it was when Mayor, Farley, and Mare were trying to escape from getting the records. It was at that point. So yeah, he like she throws up, and then I'm like, that's the first sign that she's pregnant, because she has known Shade for a while now, so she will be used to his ability and like him like taking her with him when he like uses his ability. Like it's not something new to her, so I'm like, she should be used to it by now. So I'm like, she was already pregnant by that point. Interesting. Yeah, and there's been like a few other times, like a guy that he could technically fly, the one that control gravity. She went when flying with him, and she threw up, and then she's like ashamed about it. And then they mention how later on that Marriage is like, oh yeah, Farley has been ill, but she's been trying to hide it from everyone, and everybody finds it funny that she's trying to hide it from everyone. But I don't think anyone knows that she's pregnant, because she doesn't even know. I think that they just think that she's like sick, but no, she's pregnant. So yeah, but yeah, it's funny like seeing those like little references, whatever, like earlier on in the book, because obviously the first time reading this I didn't see those. So yep. Yeah, I think that's all I have for right now. I don't know if I'm gonna continue reading because it's late, but I'll talk to you guys again later whenever I do read, if it's like now or like later on today. Yep. Yeah. Okay, so I need to plug this in. It's 2 a.m. on Monday, January 17th. I don't know, I've just been like in a better like reading mood like late at night versus like in the morning, even though I've had a good amount of days off because reasons. Yeah, for some reason like really late at night, that's when I've been doing the best reading. So yeah, so obviously Glass Sword. I'm currently on page 360. I'm in the middle of a chapter, but I thought it was a good time to do an update because a few things have happened. I'm in the middle of chapter 25. So one of the main things that's happened is that they have found Cameron. They go, first off, where do they go? Well, they go to wherever it was that John, the guy who can like see into the future, pretty much he can see everything, tells where he told them to go. And that's where they find Cameron. Long story short, so they find out that Cameron has a twin brother, and they find out that she escaped the prison that they have to go to, where they're keeping all of the new bloods, but she doesn't know that she's a new blood yet. But Mare tells him like, you're a new blood. And actually I need to like read one of the things that Cameron says, because it's like it's an important point. So yeah, Mare tells her, you know, you're a new blood, and she's like that she's been going around saving all the new bloods because Maven's gonna kill them. So this is what Cameron says: new bloods, silver bloods, red bloods, it's all the same all over again. Some who are special, some who are better than the rest, and the ones who still have nothing at all. Then she says, division, favoring one over the other. You're on the hunt for people like you, to protect them, to train them, to make them fight your war. Not because they want to, but because you need them. What about those kids going to fight? So she's talking about the kids going to fight. That's like the legion that they're sending to the choke to pretty much die. So yeah, she says, what about those kids going to fight? You don't care about them at all. You'll trade them all for another walking. Wait, what? You'll trade them all for another walking. whining spark plug. So yeah, I was like, yeah. And then if I remember correctly, like that theme continues on in the rest of the series, talking about that it's not right for that. Yes. When we learn more about, which she did kind of talk about, that at one point the Silvers were like looked down upon because they were like new. So basically it's history repeating itself. So they I forget in which book we learn more about the Silvers and how they came to be, and that's explained more in that book. I can't remember, it was King's Cage of Warstorm. So yeah, that was an important point. And then we find out Cameron's ability, and she can basically silence people with abilities. So she's basically a walking silent stone, but she's more intense than just being because she could basically kill you by like completely silencing you if she goes overboard. Mayor pretty much forces her to stay with them even though she doesn't want to, because she wants to save her brother who's going to the choke. They sent him to the choke. He's one of the ones from that legion that it's being sent to the choke to die, just because when they were being separated he wanted to hug their mother one last time. So they were like, you're gonna go to the choke because you whatever. Okay, yeah, so the Tiger Legion is when she talks about the Tiger Legion. Yeah, so when she says they separated us, meet the Beacon Legion out of the 4 patriots and Maury, her brother, to the Tiger Legion. That's what they did with anyone who made trouble, who even looked at an officer wrong. The Dagger Legion is a death sentence, you know. 5,000 kids who had the spine to fight, and they're going to end up in a mass grave. So yeah, that's what I was talking about before. And then eventually they're talking about like going to the prison to break out the New Bloods and some of the Silvers. And then they're all like volunteering themselves, and they're like, I'll go, and me too. And then I wrote, oh, so many of them are going to die. Yep, so many. Oh, and then I just highlighted this funny part. I forgot her name. What is her name? Lori. She has heightened senses, so her senses are extremely heightened. So touch, taste, smell, sight, and hearing. Those are the 5 senses. You guys didn't know. Oh Jesus, it's late. She could hear Cal wherever he is, and she's like, Cal was in a mood, by the way. She adds as she flounces past, or at least he keeps cursing and kicking things. I just thought it was funny, because I just imagine like Cal just like being annoyed and like cursing under his breath and kicking things around. Also, I realized that there isn't like the romance in this one isn't like in the forefront. It's like very minimal, and this is like one of the only times where like our main characters, Cal and May, are really like having a moment. So I just like highlighted that. It's basically Cal just trying to like line things. I think she's trying to like line things up because things are very intense, and he's kind of like flirting with her, and she's just like, what is wrong with you? she's pretty much like, what is wrong with you? This is not the time. And I found that funny and cute. But then it like completely, it was like, and there's a completely 180 from like the lightheartedness of that to this next page, and they're talking about Maven, and it says, I don't know what will make it easier to forget him, to think that he wasn't always this way, that his mother poisoned him, or that he was simply born a monster. No one is born a monster, but I wish some people were. It would make it easier to hate him, to kill him, to forget their dead faces, even Maven. Without thinking, I lay down, my heart against his. They beat in time, mirroring our joined memories of a boy with a quick tongue and blue eyes. Clever, forgotten, compassionate. We will never see that boy again. We have to let him go, I murmur against his neck, even if it means killing him. And then later in the page, Cal goes on to say, do you know how many people I love are dead? So yeah, there's a little like sad moment there. And then little few pages on, they are in the plane, the Black Run, and they're going to the prison. Nanny, who can shapeshift, she could turn into different people. She is disguised as Maven, and then the rest of them are all dressed in black with masks on, so they could look like, so they won't know, so like the people at the prison will know who they are. And when they request permission to land, Nanny is like talking as Maven, and she's like talking to the guy that they control that, and then they're like, he's like all confused because Maven's supposed to come the next day, not that day, so he was confused. And Nanny says, now when I explain myself to a glorified doorman, and I just laughed, and I wrote, I love Nanny, too bad she's I said, I love Nanny, too bad she dies. I'm pretty sure she dies. Yeah, I can't remember exactly who dies in the battle at the end of this book, but I'm like, I'm pretty sure Nanny dies. I'm like, too bad she dies. Then at the next page we have two funny lines, and then one just like that I put in green, which is like good quotes. So the two funny ones is, so Nanny is pretending to be Maven, and this is what Key Lauren says. He's like, I think you got it, Key Lauren says as he stands. He grabs my arm, pulling me slightly away. Mary nearly killed you. And then a little bit later, Farley says, let's make some bad decisions, Farley says. I can almost hear her smiling as she pushes the release. And then like the Black Run. Then the like good quote that I underlined was, a hiss, then gears turn, wires pulse, and the back of the jet yawns open to greet the last morning some of us will ever see. And I was like deep. I'm like, it's very true. And I'm like, so many of them don't make it. And there's one very specific one that doesn't make it. And it was very tragic. Again, if you're watching this, I'm assuming you read the entire book. So yeah, the one I'm talking about is Shade. He died. We think he's dead in the first book. He comes back at the end of book one, and then just died in the second book. But I know that the author Victoria Aveyard, she says that she had to kill him off because he made things too easy for Mare. So yeah. And I'm like, I'm not looking forward to reading that death again, because that was just like, what? But yeah, there's a lot that's coming, so let's get to it. Okay. It's hours later. I was hoping to get up early today, but that didn't happen. I want to sleep like at 4. Yeah. It's 2:20. What? It's 2:43 p.m. And let's finish it. So it's now 3:40 p.m. and finally finished Glass Sword by Victoria Aveyard, the second book in the Red Queen series. So I end up giving this again 4 stars on Goodreads, but it's more like a 3.75, just because in the middle there was like, did get a little like not exciting. So yeah, but overall enjoyed my reread of this, and I'm excited to get to King's Cage, which is the next book in the series. So yeah, they had they went to the prison, they helped a bunch of people escape, but of course it has some casualties. I mentioned somebody dying earlier, and I'm like, they didn't die in this book. So I'm like, did they die in a different book? Yeah, but the one person that did die, obviously, Shade. Like I said before, Victoria Aveyard said that she had to kill him off because he made things too easy for Mare, which I understand. But yeah, and the things that with his death, it happened so quickly. Also, Queen Ilara, that also happened really quickly. Like I'm not even sure. I just read this. I'm like, I'm not even sure if like it actually happened on the page when she was killed, because everything was happening so quickly, and she was trying to get people out. So yeah, I'm not even sure if like it happened on the page. It was just like Shade died. Shade teleported in front of Mare, because Mare was about to be stabbed. Then he got stabbed, and then the next moment they're on the Black Run, and Mare is waking up, and she sees Shade's body and Queen Ilara's body. And I remember reading it the first time, and I was like, when did they kill her? Like everything was happening so quickly, and still the second time around, I don't think it happened like on the actual page of when or who killed her. I don't think. Yeah. So they go back to Tuck, and they orchestrate this whole thing with they do a video with Mare showing Ilara's body, so they could have the Reds like riots and, you know, just and say like, oh, find the Scarlet Guard, get out, fight like the Silvers or whatever. And of course send a message to Maven like, your mother's dead. Which is just like intense. But then at the end of the book also, it doesn't explicitly say that why is everything leaving me, what's her name, that Farley is pregnant, but she does like touch her stomach, and then she says something like, oh, like right now, because they're gonna go on a mission to go save the kids who are being sent to the choke, but she's not going, and she says something, I forgot what she said, like she doesn't really care about saving herself, something like that, I don't remember. And I don't think I highlighted it, but yeah, once they go to the choke to save the kids, there's a trap, and the Silvers take down the plane that they're on. I forgot the name of the plane. Yeah, they take down the plane they were on, and Mare pretty much surrenders herself and says, leave them, you want me, take me. And she's like, are you a man, tells Maven, are you a man of your word, quoting like his notes, because he kept saying, oh, I'm a man of my word. So he was like, sure. He was like, yep, we have a deal. So he left everyone else that was there, so like Cal, her other 2 brothers, Keylorn, and all the new bloods, and I think there were some Reds as well, and some Silvers, I think. Actually, I don't think they were Silvers. I think they were just like some Reds, the new bloods. Cameron was there. So then Maven takes Mare as his prisoner, and in the epilogue she wakes up in like a transport thing, in chains. They're controlling her with the machine from earlier in the book, but in a lesser frequency. And then they have two people like silencing her abilities, and then they take her out, and Maven puts her in a collar and a leash. And the best like ending to a book. Like, Victoria Aveyard loves the end of this book, and I do as well. So basically it says, Maven says, "You put her body on display." His lips brush my ear as he forces the words through clenched teeth. Pain hums in his voice. "I'll do the same to you." His expression is unreadable, but his meaning is clear. With one hand, he points at his feet. His fingers are whiter than I remember. I do as he says. I kneel. Just like that. I kneel. I do as he says. I kneel. Great finishing line. And then King's Cage. Love that book. Excited to get to that book. Not sure when I'm gonna get to it, but yes, overall Glass Swords at 3.75. Not the best in the series, but still a time. So yep, finally finished Glass Sword. Please let me know your thoughts, if you read Glass Sword, your thoughts and feelings on it, and what you end up rating it. Also, which is if you've read the entire series, which is your favorite book in the series. Mine is King's Cage, if you couldn't tell. But yep, that is all I have for this video. Please give this video a like if you enjoyed it, and subscribe if you want to see more. And I will be vlogging when I read King's Cage and Warstorm. So if you subscribe and you put the little bell thing to alert you when I post the videos, you know when I post them. So yep, that is all that I have, and I'll catch you guys here next time on Yari Hearts Books. Bye.